So I just want to do a quick video on what's going on in Israel right now and the drone attack that just occurred. Iran just sent over about 200 drones to airstrike Israel. And of course, you get some people who say that this is silliness, that this is just something that proves that Iran is a paper tiger. And then on the other hand, you get a lot of people saying that this is the end times, this is World War III, this is. I just want to make this quick video because ultimately this is not World War III, okay? Iran isn't necessarily a paper tiger either, but what's happening is Iran had to respond to Israel when Israel attacked the Iranian embassy in Syria. So ever since then, Iran has been working to figure out a way to save face. Because in the end, you as a government cannot ever just do nothing in the face of an attack. And when Israel attacked that embassy, what they were doing was setting themselves up for an attack by Iran. And the simple fact is, the reason that it felt safe to do so was because it knows that Iran does not want to get embroiled into a fight with America. And America still has Israel's back right now. So the question is, first of all, how long is America going to have Israel's back? I'm not really sure that that's going to be the case for very much longer. I think they're burning up a lot of their chips right now with us. And they're doing it on purpose. And this is how important Gaza actually turned out to be to Israel. I think as well you have to consider that the Iron Dome, which is the defense system that Israel has overhead, it's, if you ever watched any of the footage, it's the counter missiles that Israel can send up into the atmosphere to take out the incoming missiles from other countries. It can, in a sense, be overtaken, right? If you push hard enough on something like the Iron Dome, eventually Israel will run out of munitions. So in a sense, if you are the Arab nations and you decided that you really did want to obliterate Israel, and for whatever reason America did not have Israel's back, what you would do, in theory, is all of the Arab nations that hated Israel would fire missiles on Israel all at the same time and overwhelm the system. And again, eventually, Israel would, in fact, run out of bullets, run out of missiles, run out of shots to make as countermeasures. And that is how you would actually get through the Iron Dome. That is not what happened. And Iran, from what we understand so far, has effectively said, we are not going to continue this. This is it. We're done. And that is Iran's way of dealing with the problem without dealing with the problem. So no, this is not World War III. This is Iran doing exactly what it did during the Trump administration. Trump, for whatever reason, I still don't fully understand what this was about. But Trump's administration, anyway, killed an Iranian leader who was supposedly a terrorist general, or at least that's what they told us. And they said, oh, he's a real bad guy. That's why we had to kill him. But out of the blue, just for no reason. I think it's the only time that I remember Trump actually doing something like that. And it was really confusing to a lot of people. I think there were some people who really, really paid attention to the region who knew who it was. But otherwise, for the rest of us, we were like, who? And it was really strange. But we did it, and so Iran had to respond. And so at one point, it attacked our base. And I remember at the time thinking how strange it was that people didn't see that that was something that was allowed, that Iran effectively was allowed to do that. Because, effectively we pulled out all of our stuff. Iran shoots some missiles into our base. I don't even remember which base it was or where it was. Nobody really got hurt. There were some concussions. I don't think no soldiers on our side died, and then it stopped and it ended. And what you have to remember is that Iran is a really weak country internally. The economy is really bad. There are a lot of foreign policy Brahmins who would tell you that Iran that blockades don't matter and that that the boycotts don't work. And we've been blockading and boycotting Iran for a very, very long time. The reality is that they absolutely do work. The thinking, by the way, on that from these Brahmins who think that they know more than the markets do is, well, in theory, if you set up a blockade, there's always going to be a black market that gets around it. The problem with that thinking is that, like all things that have to get around something else, that is an inefficient process, right? There's a lot of money that just goes into the hands of people who are wheeling and dealing, and it's not going into the product, right? So that means that everything gets very expensive, and when things are very, very expensive, you get a certain kind of inflation, basically, and so people, stop buying, right? So this whole idea that the blockade doesn't work is so stupid. I remember reading foreign policy analysis of that and trying to claim, these Brahmins were attempting to claim that it doesn't work, and it was word salad. It was total word salad. Do not believe that. That's nonsense. But the simple fact is that the economy is bad in Iran, that the government is weak in Iran, and a major reason for that is that it's not really producing all that much. It's not really a good government, and a lot of people know it. And so the crutch that it has, the one thing that it can sort of rely on constantly, is it can drum up hatred of America and it can drum up hatred of Israel. Because the people in Iran do not like the wheeling and dealing that has gone on from the American side ever since we put the Shah into power there. And then they revolted and put their own government in. And that's why they've become fundamentalist in a lot of ways. It's something that, frankly, we like to sort of point at them and say that they're crazy and that they need to be stopped. But ultimately, that was largely our doing, and it's a reactionary thing in Iran that they believe that they need to double down on that sort of Islamic fundamentalism and the government involved by proxy, because America has been messing with them for so long. And if they're effectively just saying the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and they might be right. Who knows? I haven't looked into it that deeply, but that is the situation over there. And so when something like this happens, Iran does have to pretend like it did something. And that's what this was. As far as I can tell so far, I'm sure that we'll know more as time goes on. But, see, I hate when people say that, by the way, because it's like, of course you will. But, it just, they had to do this. And the thing that you should think about when thinking about these 200 drones that they sent over is, this isn't a serious foray into battle, because you have to consider that Iran, if you look at a map, Iran would have to cross a couple of nations in order to get over to Israel. And I don't see them doing that unless they truly have the support of the entire Arab world behind them. And in that case, Iran would be a portion of the groups that finally attack of Israel. You also have to consider that the defense systems of Israel really were not overwhelmed. I have a feeling that if Iran really wanted to do damage, truly damage Israel, that it would have. And you have to remember that they don't want to get into a battle with us. They do not want to fight America. And I mean, the simple fact is they will lose. That is the simple fact. And while we have their back, whether we should or not, they are not going to even think about getting involved with us. And so I would not be surprised, by the way, if Iran did not call Israel and explain, or America, and explain what they were about to do, and ask Israel, how many drones can we send over that you could handle? Is there a certain amount that you could handle that wouldn't be a problem to you? And Israel might have said, yeah, you know what, actually, we appreciate the heads up and we'll get our people into their shelters. Everything in Israel, almost every building has some kind of aerial bombardment shelter. And, they probably said, yeah, you know what, we could probably handle 200. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened, honestly, especially in today's day and age where everybody sort of seems to be, it's weird. It seems like people, everything, including war now, feels like a divorce settlement. You know what I mean? It all feels like some kind of corporate takeover or something. It's very strange and it's very different. I don't know if we're going backwards, and maybe this is how things really felt like back in the 18th, 19th century, and that we just got used to total war. So now we think everything is still like that, and it's actually really going backwards. I don't know. But I just wanted to do this really quick video. This is not the end of the world. Iran has done this before. It has to. It has to sort of maintain itself. And Israel ultimately is safe. America is safe. And in no small part, that's due to the politics of Iran. Iran sort of needs a foil right now. It needs America, it needs Israel to be able to drum up support for itself internally. So don't panic, don't worry. This is not a big deal.